St. Francis of Assisi once said, "Where there is charity and wisdom, there is neither fear nor ignorance." Acts of human charity have been documented since the beginning of recorded history. Yet even now, in the most democratic and economically advanced nations, charity is still necessary. Does this mean that charitable acts are failing to effect meaningful change? Should charity even be the responsibility of individual citizens, or is it the obligation of government? Do handouts make people lazy and dependent instead of resourceful and responsible for their own livelihoods? Is it every man for himself, or are we all in this together? To discuss these questions and more, I'm joined by Stephen Merchant, award-winning writer and graduate of the University of Warwick.
Hello.
And Carl Pilkington. Gonk.
All right. So, Red Nose Day, Comic Relief, has come round again.
Yeah, Red Nose Day is obviously the very specific date in the calendar for the whole generic term Comic Relief, I think.
It's normally when the telecast happens.
Yeah.
People know that that's the day when they can dress up, do charitable acts. But of course, Comic Relief is a charity that's working all the time for disenfranchised all over the world.
And you can go to the website all year round, which is comicrelief.com.
I think there's also rednoseday.com, which is if you particularly want to donate for this year's appeal. Have you always been a strong champion of Comic Relief, Carl?
Not really.
Why was I expecting that answer?
Well,
No.
but I mean, we're doing a bit of charity now. We're donating our time. It's not much. It's not costing us anything.
But I do loads of stuff without going on about it. I don't think you should shout about the bits you do for charity, because then who are you doing it for?
Oh, exactly. I mean, well, this is my thing, isn't it? That there's a lot of people that only do it if it's in the public eye. It's to do it really to be a busybody or to show off or to feel good about themselves. And I suppose that's good and bad. I mean, if it gets you involved, if it does some good. My gift to the world has been you, Carl, to be quite honest. I feel that you're the world now.
I'm sure there's people in Africa going, we prefer blankets.
Yeah.
Doing a wills charity, innit?
Is it?
Sort of.
I mean,
No,
if you make a donation to a charity within the will, I suppose that's quite charitable. But
Do you
just
mean-
giving money to your relatives isn't, is it?
Of course it is.
Well,
They
it
shouldn't
is.
have it.
They're
They
getting
shouldn't-
something for nothing, but it's... I mean, I don't know. It's giving something away that you have no use for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
mean,
but forget that. It's someone is getting something when
Yeah.
they've done nothing for it, really.
Well, it is. I suppose it is charity, but charity is usually infused with some sort of altruism. It's usually to do with giving a piece of something that is kindly because you could do with it. I mean, not strictly. I think you can give away something you don't need, but it's hardly donating a kidney, is it, or some of your wages? It's like it's not charity on your part because you're literally not around anymore. So it's no longer you giving it. It's just some
Yeah, but
money
I could
there
either
was.
give it them or not give it them. Once I'm dead and I've turned to mush, I shouldn't be worrying about Suzanne's mum getting a table.
Is that what
you
you're
know-
leaving her?
Well, I called up my dad first.
Why are you
and said,
doing a will for the show?
because of this travel thing that
Right,
I'm
yeah.
doing, and it can get dangerous, you know.
But why haven't you done a will up to now?
Because you sort of, I don't know, I felt sort of young and free. Whereas now I'm...
That's never two words I've associated with Carl. He's always seemed like a man who's in his late 50s.
Yeah,
and
exactly,
I've certainly
yeah.
never the idea that you're free.
It's more-
Even if we're just talking about the head alone, it's the head of a late 50-year-old.
Free of hair?
Yeah, totally free of fucking hair.
I'm sort of getting on first name terms with my doctor.
Oh, really?
Chatting more. Oh, what is it this time?
How's your middle finger?
You
Not
know.
too bad, Carl.
All that sort of thing. So it's just made me think.
Have you had that done for the will, by the way, for insurance
I think
and
you
stuff?
need to, don't you, for a will?
I think you do.
There's nothing on the
prostate
paper.
exam?
No.
No, listen, for insurance purposes, I think you need to have a testicular exam for testicular cancer. You're just leaving the high risk for testicular cancer, actually, and you're entering the high risk for prostate cancer.
And you can have both at the same time.
You could have both
the
at the same
examination
time,
at the same time.
if he's a very dexterous doctor.
I wouldn't want that.
Why? Too much like...
It's just too much
playful.
going on. It's like someone juggling you.
Yeah, it's like being examined by Squiddly Diddly.
And so you said you called up your dad.
Called him up. I said, "Is there anything you want if I die?"
Right. And presumably, you know, Suzanne, she's getting the lion's share.
She is, But then the fella who was on the end of the phone talking us through it all was going, "Oh, you should get married." I was going, "Oh, shut up." He's saying, "Well, it make things a lot easier when it comes to this." And it's like, well, that isn't a reason to get married, is it?
Well,
so she can have all my stuff. I said, I've wrote on the bit of paper that she can have it. I'm not bothered. I'll be dead.
What did you wrote?
You know, all that whatever we've got, she can have.
Yeah, right. That's fine. That's as good as a marriage then, isn't
But
it?
it's something about tax. If you're not married, you have to hand over more.
Well, she'll get... I suppose if it's money, she'll pay tax on it.
Yeah. I think you get so much, and then it's like ridiculous tax rate.
yeah.
But she's going, that's why we should get married. I'm going to be paying tax. I'm going, hang on a minute. She's already like thinking about money loss instead of me disappearing.
Yeah.
She's going, yeah, we should. And I'm saying, look, you'll be getting a load of money. I said, if I die on this programme anyway, I'm insured. You'll be getting about £1 million for that.
Yeah.
I said, so that's something you haven't got now.
Yeah.
Got nowhere near that now. I said, so even if you have to pay tax on that, I don't think it'd be right to get married just in case I get killed.
Well, you are married, aren't you?
Well, then you may as well get the paperwork.
No, because then everyone wants a party.
You don't have to have a party. You can go straight down the registry office.
Honestly, people start going, oh, you should do this. I know it's not a proper wedding unless you do that.
Have your two sets of parents met?
No.
That'd be good, would it?
Well, I suppose it's a reason to, isn't it? At least if you're getting married, there's a reason for them to meet. At the moment, there's no reason for them to meet. No. They'd get on eeach other's nerves. My dad wouldn't get on with a mum.
Why?
Just wouldn't. She doesn't like me, so she won't like me dad. Because he's just an exaggerated version. So I think it doesn't need to happen.
But you could just nip down the registry office, get it done and dusted, and you just phone up your folks and say, it's already happened,
I
too
said
late.
that. I said, listen, if we had to do it, I said if it was like we've got to do it for some reason, I said I'd do that. We can have it done by 2, you can be back in work for 3. Because at the end of the day, there's no, you know, we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
We're not going to suddenly turn into some sort of Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan film just because we've got married.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same, exactly the same.
Yeah.
Except she'd want a joint bank account or something. That's the only other thing that would probably change, and I don't like the idea of that.
Why?
Just, I like to know what's going on. There's enough people sticking their hand in my account, charity-wise and all that, without an extra hand going in.
Who happens to be the love of your life.
I'm not moaning about it, I'm just saying it works the way it is. You hear about people getting married, and it doesn't last. Adds extra pressure.
What pressure is it going to add? It's not going to add any pressure.
I suppose that you resent the fact that the only reason you would be getting married is because she gets your money after your death tax-free.
What if you gave her a series of challenges so that she sort of earned the right to have that money?
It just keeps her on her toes. Because whilst we're not married, it's easy to go, I'm sick of this. So it keeps it
keeps her on her toes.
But it keeps us both sort of
because
doing
you're
stuff.
such a find, she's got to work hard to keep you, hasn't she?
You never do anything in order to sort of maintain this relationship, as far as I can tell. I'm not saying you're a bad man, but in terms of romantic Meg Ryan type stuff, you never do anything.
Me and Jane were out with them and Suzanne the other night, right, at dinner, and honestly, he is so grumpy. He was saying about for Christmas, right? He said, you've had a flaw. You've had a flaw. Now, what did that mean?
We had a new floor put in.
But how is that her floor?
Because she wanted it.
But you walk on it too.
I paid for it. I don't understand what you mean.
But don't you understand that, like, you know, a romantic break or clothes or perfumes, you know, sort of things that are kind of indulgent for a lady, that's a gift, not a new floor. That
is like something you give to some little African fella on Comic Relief. In fact, I think I saw it once. He didn't have a floor.
Exactly.
They built him a floor. I remember watching it with you, and they gave him a new pair of shoes and the floor. He went, hold on, floor or shoes, not both. Oh, when that tsunami hit, and it was like a month after Christmas, they showed that Britain had given £2 billion, right? He was going, that's enough. He said, before, they were living in mud huts. Now there's an Arndale Centre. So you think charity is all right as long as people don't get above their station with charity?
I think it should be there as a little booster. Something's happened that they didn't expect. They're all a bit in shock.